does this happen?
That's a great question, Laura. And you're probably too young to remember the movie Escape from Alcatraz with Clint Eastwood, but it seems like it has some vibes of that, except this seems to be a much larger concerted effort to escape. They just moved the sink or the toilet away from the wall and went through the crawl space to get out the back door. And in the movie, they were shaving it down a little bit and taking their time. And so these elaborate efforts to escape have proven fruitful for them temporarily, but it's a Herculean effort out there. There are 7 criminals who are on the loose right now and could be considered armed and dangerous because, you know, it's one thing when you have one fugitive you're looking for, but you multiply that by 7, and that's really a resource-intensive investigation.
Yeah, and everybody's been talking about, you know, graduation ceremonies. There's a lot of things going on in New Orleans right now. A lot of people are in town, and that is on top of the normal tourism that's happening in that area as well. And we know that the inmates escaped through this hole in the cell wall that was hidden behind a toilet, as we mentioned. But what checks are in place to prevent criminals from pulling off these escapes? You mentioned the Alcatraz movie, and people are talking about Shawshank too. I mean, aren't people checking the walls as they go through prison checks? I mean, oh my gosh, this video is crazy, right?
It is just, it's so shocking to see people just run out the back door like it was wide open like that. And I'm sure the internal affairs folks will get to the bottom of that in time during the investigation. You heard the sheriff of the parish talk about it a little bit at the news conference yesterday. And I think nationwide, Laura, you're seeing that there are a shortage of corrections officers. It's not just limited to Orleans Parish. It's a low-paying, very hard job and an important job that oftentimes gets overlooked. I know when we brought prisoners there, when I was an agent and we arrested folks, we we're noticing that, you know, they have a hard job and there's a lot of work that goes into that, a lot of moving parts, doors opening, intake of prisoners, feeding the prisoners. You have the trustees to manage. So there are a lot of moving parts, but what's really important now is that the public remain vigilant, Laura. These folks probably have split up, changed their appearance. We saw that the Louisiana State Police arrested one of the suspects there in the French Quarter in the middle of the tourist town. So they're trying to blend in and lay low. The U.S. Marshal Service and the FBI also joining it. You saw in the lead into this piece where the people went across Interstate 10. All you got to do is hop in a car, hitchhike, and you'll be in Mississippi or Texas or wherever in a matter of hours. So it's possible and probably likely that they've all split up because it's harder to catch one at a time instead of in a group.
Sure.
They're likely checking probably their known associates. And a lot of people don't know. They're probably talking to the people in the jail, too, to see who knew what and if anybody had any advanced warning of this.
Yeah, and I know that you've said in the past that the first 48 to 72 hours matter most. And they have probably scattered, and they are, you know, law enforcement we know does track associates. You're talking about phone calls, license plates, anybody that they knew. What else do you think is being done right now? Obviously, there's, you know, the BOLO alerts that are out there, but what else do you think is happening?
Well, they're checking the places that people don't go too much. So we saw this in Boston with the marathon bombings where Watertown was locked down that day. I'm not suggesting they're going to do that here, but they were looking for a very dangerous person. And at the end of the day, a homeowner noticed a movement in his boat that was unusual and called it in. And so that was the tip that broke it wide open. Yeah. I think with this many people involved, it's going to take a cooperation from the public with the police to do this. Now, the analysts are surely using the technology behind the scenes and probably listening to the jail call, seeing who they were in touch with, and seeing if they had any help on the outside before. It's hard just to run out and stay gone this long without help on the outside.
Jason, I wanted to ask you about the word about maybe they got help from the inside. The sheriff has hinted that this may have been an inside job, saying that the prisoners may have been assisted by someone who worked in the jail. I mean, that is one scenario you do have to look at. So how will authorities determine who else is involved on the inside?
Well, the parish authorities and the jailers will do their internal affairs investigations. They'll take everybody out, interview them one by one. They'll review jail tapes. They'll review the phone logs and the phone calls that are in there. And they'll talk to the inmates themselves to see exactly what they knew and when. So I think it'll take a little while to get to the bottom of it. But right now, the primary focus is public safety and capturing these 7. So it's hard enough just to capture 1. So capturing 7 will require every resource that they can bring in out there to make sure everybody's safe.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.